Welcome to this week's episode of Resource PNG. This week, we begin with a look at the launch of the Coconut Industry Strategic Plan. This plan for the years 2016 to 2025 charts the pathway for the coconut industry in Papua New Guinea, with an emphasis on developing the production of high-value coconut products. Let's take a look. Over the past few weeks, Resource PNG has been following a team from Kokonas Indastri Koporesen on their field visits to producers of coconut products. In early September, KIK embarked on a journey to Alatau, Milne Bay Province. Among its team were representatives from the coconut industry, including product producers, as well as heads of other agricultural commodities and agencies. Their main purpose, to witness the launch of the Coconut Industry Strategic Plan. This plan is ambitious. It places more emphasis on the development and promotion of high-value coconut products, a paradigm shift from the previous focus on copra production.
The coconut industry will focus on the innovations, and we will continue to implement those things in partnership with our private sector partners. And that's basically the SMEs that Mr. Aku has already alluded to. And as you can see, they also have displayed some of their products that you can look at later on after the ceremony. As you know, our country basically started with copra. And all these years we have been, and copra is one of the lowest valued agricultural commodity both of the world market, compared to coffee and cocoa and oil palm and other things. But if our village people are selling the oil or something else that has more higher value, then the story would be different. So in essence, this new strategic plan is basically a focus to do that, to make the transition from copra to the high value coconut products. So in a way, this plan is going to be riding on the basis of the small and medium enterprise. They will be coconut based, and the job of Coconut Industry Koporesen will be just basically providing the enabling environment so that business can continue, and our farmers, SMEs, and the other players can benefit along the value chain.
People have told us that it's a sunset industry. It's an industry that is going to sleep and is not going to wake up. Interestingly, when I started to look at people who were making those observations, I realized that it was mostly from people who didn't grow up under a coconut tree. Because if you grew up under those trees, you will know what it is, how it has sustained the lives of our people for many generations. And so it's somewhat gives us great comfort that at last we have taken steps to revive that industry and bring it back to its glory days, where we can be able to depend upon it, not only for our livelihoods, but to give us cash that we can be able to do other things with. And so we also went back to the government to present to them the need to do a review of a stimulus package that will be for small-scale farmers and agribusiness within the agriculture sector. And I'm glad to announce that the government in May 2016 also approved for us to conduct a review that will eventually provide the basis for us to suggest a policy package that will provide incentives for the smallholder sector and SME subsector within the agriculture sector.
A National Planning Minister, Charles Abel, was given the honour of launching this plan.
Is a wonderful example, a prime example of the critical elements that we need to be talking about in terms of encouraging agriculture, and in this particular case, the production of copra. And of course, it's supported by all the other things that programs such as the DSIP are doing in terms of making sure the road is reaching to Puni Puni, putting the road through to Raba, putting all the district jetties in place, making sure there's PNVs on those roads, and the 5 district boats that we have bought that provides free freighting to copra and free freighting to coffee that comes from the north coast. These are the critical things that our people want to hear in terms of what is happening. So plans are very, very important, and but unfortunately, oftentimes we keep launching plans, and our people keep saying, but what does that plan mean to me? And as a planning minister, you know, I feel a bit guilty sometimes myself, because I've brought in some new revision and revised plans and the whole STARS process and the Planning Act. But at the end of the day, plans are necessary, but unless we get on and activate those plans, you know, they're useless. They remain plans. And I must say that we are guilty of this in the agriculture sector. And the functional and expenditure review, wonderful. But when is something going to actually come from it? When is it going to translate into a subsidy?
The occasion was given extra prominence, with the KIK also signing an MOU with several LLGs in Milne Bay for the relocation of the Pacific International Coconut Gene Bank from Madang Province to Milne Bay Province. And according to Milne Bay Governor Titus Philemon, this decision is indeed welcomed, as the province is also looking to increase its focus on agriculture and agriculture SMEs going into the future.
Both of us and the governor and the people of Maramatana and Halata District and Milne Bay are very excited today, MD, about this opportunity to give to my people of Maramatana and to finally develop Puni Puni Plantation, which we've had different ideas and tried our best to bring investors, including recently to try and put a prawn farm there, and that fell through. And so we have high hopes and expectations for this exciting development before us.
We are currently providing commodity subsidies for copra as well as for coffee and cocoa. With a focus on agriculture, we are very pleased that the Kokonas Indastri Koporesen has turned our way. With this very important program, the Pacific Coconut Gene Bank and the supporting quarantine and nursery facility. As Governor, I want to thank you, KIK Board and Management, for choosing Milne Bay to be the new home for the Pacific Coconut Gene Bank and the supporting quarantine and nursery facility. We actually have a lot in common with Medan, where it departed from, and being a maritime province, just like Milne Bay. Medan, a tourism hub, lovely and friendly people, and also soccer fanatics too.
All in all, the future of coconut looks bright, and the KIK is confident that it can successfully implement the targets set out in the Coconut Industry Strategic Plan to make coconut not only the tree of life, but also the tree of wealth creation.
We have scoped the industry together, KIK in consultation with major industry players, have used those constraints to identify the strengths and opportunities in order to scope the goal and purpose of the thematic programs that will be that are available and outlined in the plan that will be launched this afternoon.
You're watching Resource PNG. We'll be back with more after these messages. Welcome back to Resource PNG. Now recently, the national government announced that 33% of its shareholding in Ok Tedi Mine Limited in Western Province would go back to the landowners of Western Province itself. Now this week, a group of landowners were in Port Moresby and have expressed their appreciation to the national government for this decision, and also announced that they would be commencing awareness within the mine-impacted areas over the coming weeks.
What they're entitled to will be paid, Mr. Speaker, will be paid.
In the August Parliament
Mr.
sitting,
Speaker,
Prime Minister Peter O'Neill announced major changes to the shareholding of Ok Tedi Mine. This would see 33% of OTML going directly to the landowners of Western Province. This decision has been welcomed by landowners. Nick Boone, on behalf of the landowners, spoke of their approval of the moves taken by government to give back equity to the landowners who own Ok Tedi Mine.
This 33%, that's for people of Western Province. It has nothing to do with OTML, nothing to do with ODDF, even nothing to do with the state. Western Province means we want to share this 33% with the provincial government, with the DDA, District Development Authorities, the mine lease villages, CMCA communities, 156 plus, and non-CMCA people. We focus our spirit of 33% based on bottom-up planning, an approach that all these things must be made at a grassroots level too. Like in the CMCA, we have village planning committees, VPCs, established under the CMCA agreements. We have 156 village planning committees. Therefore, we expect the entities, we expect a total of 156 entities established to have equity in this 33%. Now we are asking OTML, ODDF, the government, to appreciate our effort to share this 33% in the province. This is our last option. You look at it very clearly. 33% is owned by Western Province, and it is our right to say this ourselves, and then present to the government so it can go through NEC and it becomes two options in the agreement. So that in future, all the people of Western Province are equally understanding that they own Ok Tedi Mining, so they have no classes about the Ok Tedi Mining Company. We are honest. The feeling of ownership and the feeling of decision making will make the people accept the government and the government's decision and the operation of the mine.
The decision to transfer OTML shareholding back to the landowners has been welcomed. However, challenges still remain. Among issues that need attention is the mediation process between landowners, which has gone to court several times over the years.
And these villages, these communities, and this tribe have missed out since 1980. They have not received any toya at all as equity because they were disregarded as owners of land where the actual mining is taking place, goes with benefit. So what my clients are basically saying here is this: as awareness is going on in relation to the 33%, there must be mediation in relation to who is or who are true landowners that are affected, who own the land, basically. So mediation under the Land Dispute Settlement Act, whereby the local land court will take charge of, will mediate to find out who are the true landowners that should benefit from any project, whether it's Ok Tedi, Stanley, or any other gas projects. This is fundamental. And I think this is the only way all problems can be settled. Yes. And that won't affect any other projects in the country, and Ok Tedi for that matter, Stanley Gas for that matter. What I've said earlier is quoted in this decision. Benefits derived from customary land in question cannot be separated from ownership. They go ownership, benefit. And the court says this, that only the local land court can sort out that issue. So my clients want mediation to proceed forthwith in relation to ownership of the mining lease, the land within the mining lease where copper and gold is extracted in Ok Tedi.
The Western Province is also playing host to the Stanley Gas project, and the landowners are calling for all government agencies to work together to ensure the environment is conducive for these projects which are vital to the economy of Papua New Guinea.
We need to create, or we need to come together and organize a development forum. All those states we are present is how we want to divide it into, or share it with all these DDAs. How many DDAs on there? BBCs, non-CMC, CMC, and provincial government. We need all parties to reconcile. We need additional funding to have this forum in place, and we discuss and share this 33% for the better and the final for the Ok Tedi mine. Now we are asking the government, through PM and NEC, MRA, to find some money for two purposes. One, for mine villages to have their mediation conducted. On that particular issue, mine representative will continue to explain further that. Two, for equity purpose, we need additional money from the government to conduct development forum to resolve these issues.
In Stanley Gas, we have signed a development agreement in 2014, 30th May. And in the agreement, we all fall into the development agreement when we sign. So we will not work outside of the development agreement. Our benefit, first benefit, is for BDG, Business Development Grant, of 30 million. And that has been given 30 days and 60 days, within 3 months, that funds has to be released. But it didn't happen. And it is the government, the departments which responsible for that BDG to be delivered down to the people have not been done. So it has been taken to court, and that has to be considered and must be released, that 30 million before any project can be started. We don't want to be second Ok Tedi mine. For many years we've been suffering. This is oil and gas within the same region. We need the development agreement that we have signed with the money should be released down to the people. And that's the capital for the people, landowners, to get that money and start off with their life, to do business or do whatever they want. Stanley project is eventually going to lighten the Western Province, and we need to all come under what the old mayor, chairman, president has mentioned. We all fall in line with that. So it's a province that we need. We have many resources that we wanted, that resources to benefit within our province. The landowners must be benefited.
We want to make a new way forward for Western Province to open the eyes and to really see the benefit going down to the people. At this very moment, people cannot see. There is a food problem, there's a water problem, there's a housing problem. There are many situations, land issue problems, health problems. So therefore, I am strongly calling upon the Prime Minister, Honorable Dual Government, to really consider and address this issue. We don't want them to, Prime Minister, to entertain any so-called small individual groups. We don't want OTML to make decision for this 33%, OTDF, even the provincial government, even the DDAs. We want the village people themselves to make a decision for them. for themselves, because they are the ones that really impacted. They are the ones who are facing the consequences right there in the remote areas.
For the landowners, they see this decision as a positive start for a new era for Western Province. But they say lessons from the past should not be repeated.
You're watching Resource PNG. After the break, we come back with Resource News. Welcome back to Resource PNG. It's time now to take a look at what's been making headlines in Resource News.
Kokonas Industries employs over 1,000 Papua New Guineans, and majority of them are based here in Lae. There are over 550 employees working across 3 shifts, engaging in the packaging for the Trukai and Roots rice brands.
And so our employees are very important to us.
Apart from the company's other benefits, they also recognized employees who have been in the business for more than 5 years. Yesterday, during the company's quarterly get-together, 13 employees were recognized for their service with the firm. The awardees are awarded in a 5-year block, starting off with the first award service of 5 years and then going to 10, 15 and longer.
And I'm looking forward to giving my first 40-year award out in 5 years' time to Anne. So that'll be a tremendous milestone for the business when you consider that we are, at this stage, 46 and a half years old.
54-year-old Philip Nasusu is one of the awardees. He is the second longest serving employee. This year is his 30th year with the firm. Since the time he joined the company, he has seen the business grow from a small industry to PNG's main rice firm. He acknowledged the company for recognizing the time, commitment and dedication he has given to the firm.
The program is part of a European Union-funded project called EPIC that was introduced to PNG in 2013. Manu Rawali, physics lecturer at UPNG, is the project coordinator of EPIC in the country.
So the master's program is just we're trying to build capacity for those who are already in the market and, of course, bright students who just recently graduated to be able to manage a project from start to finish or anywhere in between.
Rawali said a needs analysis in 2014 in the energy sector indicated an overwhelming need for capacity building.
So we're targeting mainly, at this point of time, we're targeting mainly scientists, technologists and engineers in the energy sector.
Some of those people who have indicated an interest to take up the master's program were part of a 2-day energy workshop organized by EPIC. Dr. Oana Driha is the project manager of EPIC.
And the main aim of this project, which is basically renewable energy for the Pacific Island, is to create a master program on renewable energy management on one hand, and on the other hand to create a center on renewable energy. What for? The master program mainly for making sure that you are going to have experts in the field of renewable energy management, and the Center of Renewable Energy mainly for being the link between academia, government and the business community.
Rawali said the center will basically be a group of people coming together as a committee.
With this current structure, we have what we call an advisory committee. Advisory committee is made up not only of the university, but we have our partners, donors, private sector, government bodies will invite to be part of this advisory body. Then you actually have the actual people on the ground who do the research, do the work, which we're looking mostly within the university, but we would love to have people from outside as well.
A veteran in PNG's energy sector, Noel Mobiha, who has been part of the renewable energy discussion, agrees that there should be a wider range of ownership into the Center for Renewable Energy.
I've always been of the opinion that it should be co-funded by all the institutions, the learning institutions we get here in the country, because that brings in partnerships, that brings in different stakeholders with different specialties. Like Unitech will come in with the engineering component to the science component that's here. We may bring in Divine Word in on the business side of things to show the modeling of stuff.
With the master's program, Rawali said it will start with 10 students with the aim to increase to 20 students per year.
And that ends this episode of Resource PNG. As always, if you'd like to contribute to this program, get in touch with us via email on resourcepng@emtv.com.pg. If you'd like to view this edition again, you can log on to the EMTV website where you will find a link to the Resource PNG page. For the latest updates on the resource sector in Papua New Guinea online, you can also log on to our Facebook page. Until the next time, pleasant viewing. Bye for now.